everyone can take their seat, please, so we can start.
Is the chief?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our meeting Monday, November 26, 2018. I'd like to call our meeting to order. Item number 1, confirmation of agenda, and I believe we have added item. Can I get the board's approved to add item 13 to our agenda? Approved, thank you. That the Ottawa Police Service Board confirmed the agenda of the 26th November with the added item number 13. Confirmation of minute 29 October 2018, that the Ottawa Police Service Board confirmed the minutes of the 29th October 2018 meeting. Minute confirmed, thank you. Declaration of interest. Inquiries, we didn't receive any inquiries. Item of business, item number 1 is the Chief's verbal report. We'll hold item number 1. Item number 2 is the Boys and Girls Club. We have a presentation from the Boys and Girls, so we'll hold item 2 as well. Item number 3 is the 2019 Ottawa Police Service Board meeting schedule, that the Ottawa Police Service Board approve the 2019 meeting schedule. Approved, thank you. Item number 4, member census, the Chief's report that the Ottawa Police Service Board received this report for information. So basically, item number 4, number 5, and number 6 would receive and debated on committee, and that meeting was open to the public as well. So there's any question, or we can receive those reports. So just Chief, as a direction for the performance and evaluation of the strategic plan. As we all know, the strategic plan is the board strategic plan, and the item of the member census, public survey, and members engagement survey, these are all input into the board strategic plan. The strategic plan is a tool we use to provide direction to the chief and the high-level priorities we want the service to focus on. Chief, I would like to direct that going forward as a part of your annual performance evaluation, and I believe we should add here, and the executive team, you outline clearly for the board your achievement of the goal and objectives outlining in the board strategic plan as a yearly performance review.
Mr. Chair, as I indicated at the PG, some of those elements are included in there now, but we will ensure that for the chief, the 2 deputy chiefs, and the director general, the members of executive command, that the strategic objectives of the business plan are clearly identified, and that there's accountability built into performance appraisals for the executive.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can add this direction with the 3 items. Okay, on item number 4, item number 5, on item number 6 with the direction. Is the item received and carried? Thank you. So carry on the direction. Thank you. Item number 7 is the financial status report, 3rd quarter 2018, that the Ottawa Police Service Board received this report for information. Any question on the item? We can receive? Received, thank you. Item number 8, Human Rights and Racial Profile and Policy Annual Report, that the Ottawa Police Service Board received this report for information. Oh, yes, we do. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. We have too many pieces of paper here. Yes, this is about June. June, can you Gervin. June, can you stand, please wave to us? This is June Gervin, folks. While we are on item 8, I would like to make a special mention related to the reference in this report. The International Decade for People of African Descent 2015-2024 was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly on a resolution adopted in December 23, 2013. The theme is People of African Descent, Recognition, Justice, and Development. Here in Ottawa, at the Anti-Racism Town Hall held on March 21st, where Chief Bordelot was a panelist, Mayor Watson also proclaimed the International Day for Elimination of Racial Discrimination by adopting the United Nations International Decade for People of African Descent. One of the driving forces behind this local recognition of the United Nations Declaration and the work of Ms. June Gervin. Thank you very much, June, and I know we met with you in the board and you're free. So Ms. Gervin, can you, we want to thank you on behalf of the board, and we'd like to acknowledge all that you have done and continue to do to lead discussion and awareness here in Ottawa with the public services, such as the Board of Education, our police, and the City Council. We wish to thank you for your position, study, guidance, and commitment to work with our public institution and the important declaration and what it means in practice of the people of African descent. I know our police service will continue to work with our communities on both the spirit and the intent of the proclamation. And I want to thank you on behalf of all of us, June, for taking the time and meet with us at the police board meeting with David Snoddy and the folks from the Ottawa service. Thank you very much, June. Thank you. On item 8, that the Ottawa Police Service received this report for information. It's received, thank you. Item number 9, performance report, third quarter 2018, Chief's report, that the Ottawa Police Service Board received this report for information. Received. Item 10 is workforce management report, third quarter 2018, that the Ottawa Police Service Board, 1, approved the appointment of the sworn officer identified in document 2, and 2, received this report for information. Carry and receive? Receive. Thank you. Item 11 is outstanding board inquiries in motion, November 2018. A report from the Executive Director that the Ottawa Police Service Board received this report for information. Item 12 is the letters of accommodation, Chief's report that the Ottawa Police Service Board received this report for information. Item 13 is the one we added early on today. It is in your package, and it is an upgrade of Nice Voice recording software purchase agreement, and the timing was to be done in December. I think that's when the service will receive a discount on this system, so that's why this was walked on. Is that okay to approve this item? What we need here, that the Ottawa Police Service Board approve the award of contract to NICE Systems Canada Limited, NICE, in the amount of $229,905 plus applicable taxes on a sole source basis. If you have any question, I think staff can answer it, but if it's not, we can carry this item. So on the item, carry, thank you. So we'll go to item number 1, and this is the Chief's verbal report. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This past Friday, we saw a shooting occurred at a busy South End mall that left one man dead. This homicide highlights a continued national trend we are seeing with criminals arming themselves with illegal weapons and using them brazenly. Like most of our shootings, investigators believe that this shooting was targeted. However, the location and timing is particularly concerning, and our major crime detectives are seeking suspects. Members from across the police service continue to focus on gun violence suppression in our community. We have been conducting investigations, seizing guns, and targeting and arresting offenders known to be armed. Just hours later, Saturday morning, frontline officers arrested a wanted man who was also armed with a loaded handgun. We have already seized almost 50 illegal guns this year. And in anticipation of federal funding that we know now will flow through the province, we have added 10 new resources to our guns and gangs. In addition, we have asked for extra resources directly from the province, as the Toronto Police Service has seen, to assist us with this growing issue. Those discussions are ongoing. Mr. Chair, on November 13th, the robbery unit laid criminal charges after frontline officers arrested several males responsible for a rash of cell phone robberies in the West End. The suspects posed as potential purchasers of cell phones using online classified ads. Once the suspects met with the sellers, they would take the phone on the premise of examining it and then flee with the phone. An update on the cannabis legalization. On October 17th, cannabis became legal across Canada. Our focus has been on impaired drivers, and several ride programs have been carried out across the city to include one last Friday night. We also continue to focus to enforce new provincial laws related to selling cannabis. This month, Provincial Offences Act warrants were executed at 4 illicit cannabis storefronts. Products and proceeds were seized, and 12 people were charged under the new Provincial Cannabis Control Act. Distracted driving continues to be an issue on our roads, and we are always looking at enforcement strategies to assist us in modifying driver behavior. Earlier this month, police borrowed a school bus from Compo bus lanes, and were on the lookout for drivers using their cell phones. The project resulted in 36 distracted driving charges, 2 unlicensed drivers, 2 seatbelt charges, and 25 other HGA charges being laid. New distracted driving laws will take effect in January with tougher penalties for violations. The fines will increase to $1,000, 3 demerit points, and could result in a 3-day license suspension, all applied by the Ministry of Transportation. This year, the Ottawa Police Service will again be participating in the White Ribbon campaign that runs from November 25th to December 6th. Board members will have been given a white ribbon at your desks, like we are wearing. Ending violence against women is a priority for our service. Wearing a white ribbon is a personal pledge to never commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women and girls. Statistics reports that 1 in 3 Canadian women experience sexual assault or physical, psychological, emotional, or physical abuse from males. The goal of the White Ribbon campaign is to end violence against women by challenging everyone to speak out, educating young people, especially young men and boys, on the issue, and getting people to think about their own beliefs, language, and actions on this very important issues. Together, we can work to reduce and eliminate violence against women in the home, in the workplace, and in our community. That is my update, Mr. Chair, subject to questions.
Thank you, Chief. And question to the Chief on the report? Thank you very much, Chief. I'd like to recognize we have among us tonight Councillor Dan Dean. Welcome, Councillor. Can we receive the Chief's verbal report, please? Earlier, we received item number 9, and Member Velikat, she has a question about number 9. So can the board indulge Councillor Member Velikat to the board's in agreement? Yeah. Just hold on. We just need to get an agreement from the board to, yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Member Velikat, please.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Chef, I just wanted to, I found this particular performance report, the third quarter 2018, very interesting. Lots of very good information, lots of great stats. My question is there a possibility of looking back 10, 20 years, the history on how and what preoccupied our police officers back then, so we can see how crime has evolved, therefore giving us a better picture of how policing has changed and what skills and criteria are necessary for today's world?
Mr. Chair, from a strictly data analysis, we have data that does go back, to amalgamation as far as the stats. What that data will show you, historically, we've been focused on reporting crime. So it may show us a change in crime trends. Where policing has really evolved is in the complexity of the crime, and also all the other social disorder and quality of life issues that our officers are now having to face on a daily basis. And we haven't been historically that good at capturing that data and truly understanding that. But I can tell you that the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police have been working with Stats Canada and POLIS, which is a group that actually collects all this data, and they are developing a new matrix to identify those quality of life and social disorder types of calls for service, because we know that I think it's about 20 or 25% of the work that our officers do only relate to crime. The vast majority of the work they do relates to other types of calls for service that are social disorder and quality of life. And we have to find better ways to capture that data, analyze it, and compare it on a national basis. So based on all that information, I think the officer that we are hiring today, we are looking for, compared to the officer we did hire 30 years ago, has changed. There are some very basic elements that have remained the same because they are law enforcement officers and we are applying the law, and there's certain competencies around communication and those types of things that have always been there. But they're certainly evolving with respect to the education and a lot of other types of competencies as far as their ability to deal with people in multi-settings. I remember when my father-in-law started in policing 45 years ago, actually probably 50 years ago now, you had to be, they were hiring a lot of ex-football players. A lot of the Ottawa Rough Riders became police officers. That physicality and that presence and size, what mattered back then. And then you saw as policing continues to evolve, that gradually change. And policing as a profession, recognizing that what we need as a police officer is multidimensional and multifaceted, and is quite different from what it was years ago. So we want to make sure that our hiring processes continue to evolve to make sure that we are bringing that type of person that has those fundamental skills, but also is able to deal with a myriad of different circumstances that the policing of today are faced with.
I appreciate that answer. Thank you very much. I just think that it would be fascinating to see that and to be able to share that with the public, because I think it's very interesting for the public to know, and it might encourage more women, for instance, for example, knowing that their skills are refined and required as well, much more now perhaps than ever before. So I'm seeing this as a positive, proactive way of educating future police officers or individuals who'd be interested in policing.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, and as you may recall, a recruiting video tries to depict the various roles that our officers have, whether they're crime fighters, whether they're dealing with people with mental illness, whether they're doing proactive policing, or whether they're mothers at home or fathers at home. And so we're trying to really portray and say that anybody, the community can become police officers if they have those basic skills.
Okay, Mr. Vice Chair.
I wanted to agree with that, the request, and I just thought, especially if it could be like a one-page snapshot, that here's the police officer from 20 years ago, here's what they looked like, and here's what they had to do, and here's one today, and here's what they have to do. So something really simple that just drives home the point of how much the job has changed. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. So we did receive this item earlier, still receive, and okay, thank you. Now for the fun part, and item number 2 is the Boys and Girls Club of Ottawa grant for Police Youth Center Clubhouse Capital Campaign. And so I'd like to invite, we have a presentation from Steve Bekta and Jennifer Baca. So if you folks can take a seat. Is it back, Jennifer?
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for having us here today and hearing about the submission for the Boys and Girls Club. We're very pleased to be here. My name is Steve Bekta, and I'm the chair of the board. And Jennifer Baca, Director of Advancement, will be giving the presentation to you today.
Okay.
Reaching the most at-risk children and youth than any other organization in the city, the Boys and Girls Club of Ottawa has been helping deserving kids to discover and maximize their potential for nearly 100 years. Every year, the club provides 4,500 kids in 7 at-risk neighborhoods across Ottawa with a safe place during the most vulnerable hours of the day and free access to structured, life-changing programs designed to drive personal development, empower youth to reach their full potential, and give them confidence and skills for life. After school and weekend hours are a critical time for youth. That time can represent either an opportunity to learn or grow through quality after-school programs, or be a time of risk to youth's health and safety. Our important programs are a healthy and positive alternative. They keep kids safe, improve academic achievement, and relieve the stresses on today's working families. They also serve as important intervention strategies for youth. Last November, the Boys and Girls Club of Ottawa embarked on a major renovation of its Police Youth Centre clubhouse located in the vulnerable Deborah Dines neighborhood. This community, which is both culturally diverse and ethnically rich, has changed significantly over the past few years due to the gentrification of a nearby neighborhood that has pushed crime back into this clubhouse area. As you can see, the clubhouse saw tremendous growth for a number of years, but the last few years has been operating at full capacity. In 2017, 751 unique members made 18,444 visits to the Police Youth Centre clubhouse. On average, this club sees more than 100 members each night. Here are some quick facts on the neighborhood, and just to highlight a few, this area has more than double the average total population living in low income, more than double under the age of 18 living in low income, 300% more households with an income under $20,000, and there are no immigrant services or libraries in the area. So why are we doing this major renovation? The need for major changes to the infrastructure of this 51-year-old converted fire hall in Ottawa's South End is great, as it's seen tremendous membership and demand and growth. The old facilities, which are aging and much needed repair, really limit the services and programs this clubhouse is able to offer. Therefore, the redevelopment of this facility is essential to properly support the vulnerable demographic in this neighborhood and make it relevant and accessible to the community. This renovation will double the club's footprint, dramatically expand, modernize, and improve space, accommodate club growth, and enhance programming, comfort, and safety. It will also make the clubhouse relevant and accessible to the community and more welcoming to all members. Here you can see the facility before the renovation. It's much too small, has only one stall in the girls' washroom, poor sight lines, low ceilings, outdated gym, outdated electrical, HVAC, and plumbing. The old facilities, which are aging and much needed repair, really limit the services and programs the club is able to offer. Through this capital project, we've done a complete interior renovation and reconfiguration of the existing space, and we've also added a brand new gym and an all-season rink. Here is what the clubhouse looks like now. As you can see, it's much more inviting. We've also moved the front entrance from Nesbitt Place to Prince of Wales Drive for maximum visibility within the community. This renovation has allowed us to double the club's footprint. Previously, the gym was located in the garage where they used to park the fire trucks. It was very small and had low ceilings, and often there was a waiting list to play basketball. The biggest request we had from club members, especially our youth, was for a bigger gym. We're thrilled to be able to deliver on that request with the addition of a brand new full-size gym. In partnership with the Ottawa Senators Foundation, the NHL, and Ringside for Youth, this club will also have an all-season rink for skating in the winter and ball hockey and basketball, for example, in the summer. Renovations are nearing completion. As you can see, we were planning to be in the space by November 28th, but have had to delay the opening by 1 week. So we're now expecting to reopen the club to members on December 5th. It's been a long year at McGregor Easton Public School, the nearby facility that we've been renting from the Ottawa Carleton District School Board. But we can't wait to see the look on our members' faces when those doors open again and our members can finally come home to their new and improved clubhouse. The Police Youth Centre, once owned and operated by the Ottawa Police Service, now owned and operating as a Boys and Girls Club of Ottawa clubhouse, has undergone this major renovation to meet the demand for at-risk youth programming in the Deborah Dines area. This project was originally estimated to cost $3.5 million, but due to circumstances beyond the club's control, including extensive environmental testing and asbestos remediation and removal, it is now estimated at $3.9 million. So we're now seeking additional funds to close the funding gap on this important capital campaign. The Boys and Girls Club of Ottawa would like to invite the Ottawa Police Services Board to help further their mission of empowering children and youth to reach their full potential by investing in the club's important clubhouse rejuvenation project with a gift of $30,000, which will have a tremendous impact in the community. I'd like to open the floor for any questions.
So Jennifer, just before you go on, thank you very much for that presentation. It was very well done. I sit on the board of the Boys and Girls Club, which I'm very privileged to do. And as Jennifer went through that information, one thing I want to highlight is the impact that these clubs, this club and the other clubs have on our community. We get the disadvantage of working mainly with people who haven't had the opportunity to go through a program like that. The programming that they provide on a daily basis to our most at-need areas in the city can't be measured. We know that they divert lots and lots of people from criminality and from engaging in social disorder activity through the great programming that they provide. One thing that became surprising to me as I started to sit on the board was that there is limited provincial or municipal funding that supports these programs. This clubhouse is actually an amazing example of that, because it's a $3.9 million capital program that's almost completely been funded through the generosity of people in this community. This to me is a small ask towards this great program and building this great clubhouse, which I would invite anybody that wants to attend to come see. We'd be more than happy to take you on a tour of it. But beyond the clubhouse, it actually will help continue great programming that we provide. So I get the benefit to see it every day. We would be more than happy to give you the opportunity to come and visit and see what they provide.
Well, thank you very much, Deputy Chief, and thank you, Jennifer and Steve. I think Councillor Dean and I and the Executive Director and Councillor Brockington, we did attend. We saw before and after, and I have to tell you, you guys did a miracle job with an old fire hall, so kudos to you, and I think the kids will be very happy with the renovation. But we do have some questions for you, Jennifer. We start with the Vice Chair, Mr. Smallwood. Is it Smallwood or Smallwood? Smallwood.
Thank you very much. It was an excellent presentation, and I have had the opportunity actually to visit your facility on MacArthur, I think, and see it in action and see the kids there. So I'm a great supporter. I think it's really wonderful. It's an upstream thing, and I think this is really a great initiative that you guys are doing. And with Deputy Chief Bell's comments, I certainly agree with that. The only question I had was just in the presentation, it shows a drop from 2016 to 2017 from 19,257 to 18,444. And I just wondered, is that because of the ongoing renovations that are happening now?
It is. So the club closed on November 1st for renovations. So the last 2 months, the membership would have dropped dramatically.
Madame Velikat.
Merci beaucoup. I also had the pleasure of quite a few years ago when I was the executive director of the Vanier BIA. I did a lot of work, not a lot, but I had an opportunity to experience some wonderful things with the establishment on MacArthur, been to many of your breakfasts at the Des Moines location. I'm just wondering if this one will allow you to do some fundraising events, like the breakfasts, because it would be really nice to have one located in that part of town.
Sure, we're gonna take turns answering questions here. So yes, at our advancement meeting last week, we talked exactly about that. Showing what can be done when the community comes together to support such an endeavor as the Police Youth Center. It would be perfect to be able to do a fundraiser there, perhaps moving our breakfast. If we can only get the parking lot across the street for all of our breakfast donors, then we're all set. But I think the police could probably have something to do with that, help directing traffic for our donors to come across the street on one morning in May. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, folks. So on item number 2, that the Ottawa Police Service Board approve a one-time grant of $30,000 to the Boys and Girls Club of Ottawa to help fund the Police Youth Center Clubhouse Capital campaign. On the item, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Steve and Jennifer, and our Deputy Chief as well for sitting on the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So with that, folks, that will conclude our meeting in public, so we need a motion to move in camera. Moved by Member Smallwood. Thank you very much, and our meeting has been adjourned. Thank you.